Ohuhu offered to send me a 120 marker pack. And I said yes, heck yes, because I have an alcohol marker obsession. And I'm not sorry. I love using markers because they add an instant impact to any drawing. I use them all the time. I teach them all the time. I published books on them all the time. I just love me some alcohol markers. So in this video, I wanted to show you my approach for getting comfortable and starting with them if you're brand new. And a lot of these, I don't know, tricks, I can't talk, no, trips, what? Tricks and tips, oh my God, I really are just from years of using them and loving them so much. Now, you might think that I've been sponsored by Ohuhu many times in the past, but that is actually not the case. I approached them before I published my Skin Tone Secrets book, which is all about using their 36 set to create like a whole slew of gorgeous skin tones. I asked them if they would, and I didn't get a response in full transparency. And I have since bought with my own money four sets of the 36 set by Ohuhu. So I poured a lot of money into Ohuhu before they ever knew that I existed and before I even wanted them to sponsor me. The reason I'm just going over that is just so you know that I truly stand behind this product and this company genuinely. And I only recommend and I only do sponsored videos if it is for a company that I highly recommend and admire. And Ohuhu is one of those companies. So let's get started with markers. The first thing I do when I get a big set, and I do recommend starting with a big set, and I'll tell you why. Number one, these are very inexpensive. They're about $1 a marker compared to Copics, which are the industry standards, which are about $7 to $8. I've seen them $9 a marker. So they're way more affordable. In case you're new, they have the same, well, there are different styles. I only use a marker if it has a brush nib. I don't even care what's on the other end. It has to have a brush nib or I won't use it. I've had companies ask me and I'm like, nope, not if it doesn't have a brush nib, because I use that all the time. So I like it because they have the best of both the nibs that I prefer. They come with these swatching cards, which I do fill up. I'm not gonna record it because holy boring, but I do strongly recommend, like, you gotta do this. It'll save you hours of your life not having to hunt for the right color. So what I do is I get these sets and they come all scrambled up, which I never quite understand. And I usually pull out what I think are gonna be the skin tone colors first. And I will swatch them in no particular order. And you can see, even though a lot of these skin tones look very similar in tone and value and shade, they're all scattered all over the place. So actually, to be honest, I always swatch my markers twice. I do them once on a card or in a rectangular format, and then I do them again. So I'm gonna finish swatching these. I'm not gonna record it because holy boring. And then I'll come back and show you how I do swatch them again. And this is all before I even get started. Paper is a huge, it's so huge. It's so huge, I just made a whole video on it. So if you haven't watched my latest video on paper with alcohol markers, please check the description box. I will also leave a link in the pinned comment section below. And the eye in the corner of the screen, you gotta watch that because it's everything, it's everything. So I'm not gonna talk about that in this video. Just know that it's important. I'll be doing my final project on Bristol, but after we swatch with a rectangle, we're gonna swatch again. I'll show you how, and then I'll show you how to approach a project for the first time. Oh, Ohuhu was also kind enough to give everyone who watches this video and purchases within the first 3 months of this video being published a 10% coupon off of everything in their entire store, which is so nice. Just use the coupon code Karen Campbell 10, and I'll write that in the pinned comment section below so you don't miss it as well. All right, I'm gonna finish swatching. So this is not necessary. You don't need to do all the skin tone first. I just like to pull them apart, and then when I put them back in the bin, I will put them back with all the skin tones together so I don't lose my mind when I'm gonna draw a face, because that's what I'm gonna be doing, and I don't have to go hunt and peck for those skin tones again since I just pulled them out. All right, so swatch your cards. Just wanted to show you in the middle of, since I wasn't going to show you how I swatch them on the rectangle sheet, I just wanted to show you my process. So again, I start with my skin colors over here, and then I'm systematically starting to go through each color one by one. And it's really, I call it this like my getting to know you period. I really do feel like I'm getting to know my markers, which colors they're included, which they're not. So I'm not done yet, but as you can see, marker companies drive me crazy is sometimes there seems to be no rhyme or reason to some of these colors. Like these colors all look sort of the same, and they're supposed to be, you know, blue, green, like 6, 7, and 8, but they look really similar to me. So here's like BG, they give you the whole spectrum, BG 1 and 2, which look dark, and then BG 3 is like randomly super light, which doesn't really make any sense. And then BG 4 is also light, and then 5, and then these 3 are sort of the same. And then 9 is like a gray blue. It's just fascinating to me. A lot of times, and I notice this across all marker manufacturers, they don't kind of make sense, which is also why you have to swatch, because you don't really know what the heck you're gonna get. Other things I find really common are like, I got multiples of R18, which is great for me because I use it all the time, but that there's not supposed to be 2 in there. So when I start running out of desk room, which is very quickly, I'm gonna start putting my 120 set into my marker storage. I have 3 of these. They're all filled. This is the only room I have left, so I'm interrupt. These are all my skin tones. Actually, I have a whole other one of skin tones. And so I'm gonna start filling in these as I swatch them just to clear up space, and then I'll go through the rest of my markers. That I like. I think this is very personal. You can do rainbow order. This time I started with skin tones and then segued them down. I'm pretty sloppy when it comes to my colors, honestly. I usually take them out in a hurry and I put them back in a hurry, so I'm not really anal at all about like the order, as long as they're sort of grouped together. Just another example, I had to show you this because it's so funny, of how random sometimes these colors can be. We have this super random RP1 in the middle of all of these cools. So I don't know, I would have probably put them on this sheet. You know what I'm saying? I know, funny. Even their skin tone colors, there's one that like sticks out. It's called like brown bear, and it's like bright orange. It doesn't make any sense. So I just think it's really funny. Also why we swatch though. So now this is like a quick reference. If I want to pull one, I can see the swatch really quick. But then I do one more swatch set, which is I grab my reference, whatever I'm going to be coloring in. Today it's going to be this Wee Fairy. And then I'm going to go and find ahead of time the colors that closely match these. And I'm just going to swatch them out super quick on a separate sheet. I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so the next step is swatching for the project that I'm actually going to be creating. This is a lesson for my Celtic Collective Fantasy Art Club students. So I'm going to be picking out, I think these 3, like R18, 19, 20 would be really good for her skin shading. She's got some little cheeks, and I'm very literal about the colors. I will just hold the swatch card right up to her. So the cheeks, maybe I would do like R21 because they're just a little bit more peachy keen. I put my big marker case right in front of me right here so I can grab them really quickly. And then I do the same thing for the other colors. So her hair, and what's nice too is that if I decide to punch these up, which I like to, these are a little bit subtle for me, then I can also quickly, again, holding up the swatch cards, I can grab what I need really quick. So if I want the super darkest orange, that would be like a Y5, and then the Y10 weirdly is lighter, don't know why. And then if we want to go even lighter still, I would say that's like a Y4. So again, easy grab because all my colors are together, and there we go. And I will repeat the same thing for the blues and the greens. And then if I want to do one final check, I have like my skin tones, I have my oranges, I have my greens, and I have my blues. So I'm all set to go. And I'll grab a book like this. So I created this because I hate swatching and it's freaking boring. So this makes it a little bit more exciting. Swatch copy color. So there's faces in here that I have drawn. These actually are also from my Skin Tone Secrets book. But this is like if I just want to do like a scribble scrabble and just make sure that the colors that I picked are gonna like vibe together. You can do just like a quick swatching here. Okay, I'm so dumb. I forgot. I have something for you. If you want to make swatching fun for yourself, you don't have to buy my swatch book because I already made some coloring swatching sheets for you that you can download for free. So when I was creating my Skin Tone Secrets book, I came up with all these characters that I drew and I saved them off. That's how I made them my swatching book. But I also compiled 25 coloring and swatching sheets for you that you can get free. They're all my little characters from my swatching book. So what you can do is you just print these off onto cardstock. So when you're swatching with alcohol markers, you want to use something more sturdy than just regular paper, which is why for the marker swatching, you actually would prefer loose leaf and not grabbing my book because you want to print them out on cardstock. So when you're doing the swatching, they're not going to bleed through. So you can get a way better representation of what your marker colors are going to look like and how they're going to work. Now you should still use Bristol for your final projects or marker paper. Go watch that other video. But yeah, I totally forgot that I had these 25 pages. Super cute swatching things. It makes swatching so much more fun. And if you're into doing faces like I am obsessed, then it makes your swatching way more fun and exciting too. And you can actually swatch them properly and like color them in as like a test run before you go and do your final project. And if you want the link to that, just ask me in the comments and I'll drop you a link. You can click in, put your email address, and it'll email them right to you. If you have any issues with your links or anything, just email me. All that information will be below. And happy swatching. There's nothing special about this paper. It's not marker paper, so don't use it for that. Again, watch my passionate marker paper video that just came out. But it's just, I need to see them like in the flesh. Like, is that going to work out? Yeah, I think that looks really great together. Just taking a moment to swatch these out is very helpful. I do not like surprises, so I just like to slap them down on the paper really quick and just make sure that these are going to be okay. Doesn't have to be art. I just want to make sure that they all go together. Okay, it's kind of like an art journal where you just kind of barf all over the pages just to make sure, again, no surprises. All right. And then, yeah, they all kind of meld right in together, which is what I want for my wee fairy, right? Just those cheeks are the only thing I want to be the darkest. And so I can make sure that that's not going to be too crazy. And actually, if it is a little bit dark, which it might be, I can use them for her lips instead. And then I might shy away. That might be too dark, actually. But now I know because I tested it out. So when in doubt, test it out. There's nothing special about this paper. It's super bleedy. It's just regular paper, but it's designed for all your swatching, so you can do just that. And have a pretty face to do as well. So, okay, I'm gonna go draw this for my students and teach them how to draw that, and then I'll be back to show you just some quick tips on how to use your markers. Now that they're all swatched and ready and organized, now you know how to see if they go well together. I'll just give you some quick tips on coloring, and we'll call it a day. All right, so number one is, and hopefully you've already picked up on this, but especially when doing faces, choose colors with a low contrast to one another, which means don't pick like a super light color for the skin and then a super dark color for the cheeks. You will have a really impossible time trying to get them look natural and blended in if the difference between one value and the next is way, way, way too great. So do little subtle variations. That's also why it's really beneficial to have a large pack of markers. That's the key, is because you want to be able to have multiple shades. Unlike paint, where you can mix different shades just by adding white, you can't with markers. That's the downside of things like markers and colored pencils, where you need to buy each shade separately. But thankfully, brands like Ohuhu make it really affordable for you to be able to purchase a large number of markers individually so that you can have as much fun coloring as possible and make these gorgeous, gradual, beautifully blended colors. So I love to do lots and lots of faces, and that's essential. So I love that I get like a whole skin tone pack within this 120 pack. The next piece of advice that you need to heed is to always work on the right paper. I just published an entire video on this. I will link it in the description box. It is like paramount that you use the right paper with markers or they just are not going to work. So I recommend using marker paper by Strathmore and Bristol. And I also have a 7-cent, yes, that's 7 cents alternative to Bristol that I swear by, and I love it so much. Another hot tip when coloring with markers is to move really quickly. It's not awesome to work slowly because just like paint, when it dries, it sort of has a different finish to it. So does the ink that you're using when you're using markers. So you need to activate it and blend it while it's all still wet. So if you give things a chance to dry, it's going to be more streaky. You're going to see your brush strokes way more, and the blend is going to be very cumbersome and a lot of times super unattractive. So moving quickly, if at all possible, can just help you get a better blend. It'll look better overall, and you just get this seamless transition. That being said, I highly recommend changing up your brush strokes depending on what kind of object that you're rendering. So for this case, she's a child, so I wanted to make sure her complexion is clear and smooth. So I'm using swirling, blending brush strokes in her face, and then it makes a very subtle kind of glowing effect versus her hair, which are strands that are coming in straight lines. So in this case, I'm using the brush strokes, just like I would with like wet paint, in the same direction as the hair would be brushed, and so that way it helps it make that kind of hair look. Same thing with the wings. I'm not using the circular blending because I want it to have the appearance of the wings spreading out amongst the veins, and so the color is spreading with the angle of the veins and the directionality. So all these little subtle differences are really important to take into account. And lastly, alcohol markers do not play well with others. You cannot do mixed media. You cannot put them over acrylics. They're kind of babies and they don't get along with others. So if you're going to use them with other art supplies, they have to be the bottom layer, and you can put just a few things on top. Color pencils, a little bit of ink, a little bit of white for highlights, and that's it. I genuinely love Ohuhus. You know, I've on my 4th Ohuhu skin tone pack. I think for the price point, this is a 120 set. That's less than $100, especially with that coupon if you're catching this video when it's just released. But I mean, you have all the colors. You can pick, as you saw, multiple shades of each color, which to me is the most important. They have larger sets that are like 260, I think even more, but like this 120 is kind of the sweet spot between as many markers as you could ever need or want to do a whole huge plethora of projects, including a lot of skin tones, and like not having quite enough where you're like, crap, I need to go buy more markers. So I stand by Ohuhu. I love them. I buy them myself, and I really like this set, and I think that you will too. Don't forget, there's the coupon, Karen Campbell 10. I'll put the information below, but yeah, you can buy them and you won't be sorry that you did.